Hi, hello. Well, I would say happy Thursday, although it's not started off very well for me. Oh dear. Well, I was doing everything, getting ready for bed last night. Happily, merrily getting ready, then bam. I tripped over the end of the cover that I've got over the bed. It must have been trailing on the floor, got my toe in it and bang. To say I went down on one knee. That would be a nice version, but I slammed onto my, what I call my fake knee. That's the knee. I've got an operation on it, and I've got titanium knee, whatever they call it these days. Metal titanium. Woof, straight on that. Full weight. Not exactly a lightweight, you know. But boom, straight on my knee. So I lay there thinking, oh, this isn't good. Everybody's in bed. How are you going to get up? So I lay there with my knee going, no! And I thought, you've got to get up. You can't stay here all night. I didn't want to shout the family because it was long after their bedtime and they'd gone to bed. And my son was working like today. So eventually I sort of shuffled my way around. And fortunately I've got a very substantial bed. It's one of those that has a compartment underneath it. You know, you raise up the bed and store things underneath it and raise it down. So when I got a hold of it to pull myself up kind of thing, it didn't move. It was quite substantial. So I had to go on my knees, even though they were hurting. I had to be brave. Be brave, Janet, I thought. Be a big, brave little soldier. So I tried to put my weight on the other knee, which isn't a good knee, because that is one that's waiting for an operation, which it won't have. Anyway, gets on both knees, managed to get myself up. By this time, of course, I'm going shaking like a leaf, and I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. So I thought, luckily I was going to bed, so best thing to do when you've done anything like that is rest it, isn't it? So I hobbled into bed, took 2 painkillers, got some of that analgesic stuff that you rub on, put it on my knee. But I must have given it a bit of a carpet burn as I fell, you know, so it was like, oh, I didn't know whether I was, oh, because it was hurting, or oh, because I had the carpet burn. But either way. So I got in bed and I couldn't get to sleep for ages, because you can't, can you, when you shut yourself up like that. So there I was laying in bed, and then the back light kept coming on in the garden. I don't know whether it was a cat or what it was. But it shines through into my bedroom. Normally I wouldn't see it because normally I would be asleep. And the backlight kept coming up and I'm thinking, I'm not getting out of bed. I am not going to see what the light is coming on for. Because, you know, I wasn't quite sure of how my knee was doing. It felt like it was swelling like the dickens, but I didn't want to look, to be quite honest. I looked to see, make sure I hadn't cut it or anything like that. And but then I decided to get in bed. Anyway, eventually, I must have gone to sleep. I don't know what time. But eventually I got to sleep. So I got up this morning and I thought, oh, well, you know, it's kind of hurting, but carry on with your day, Janet, you know. I'm not one to go, oh, God, I have to stay in bed. I'm really, really ill. I'm one of those that's, you know, I talk to myself. Get up, you fool. Your leg is still attached, it's not hanging off. At least get up, put your weight on it and see what happens next. So I got out of bed, put my weight on it, and I thought, well, it's still holding me up, so obviously. I was more bothered because it's a metal knee. I was more bothered about dislodging it because I went with such a whack. You know, I don't know whether you've got artificial knees or whatever, but they kind of cement them into the bone. You know, they slot this spike thing, a bit gruesome into it, but they slot this spike thing into your bone. And I was kind of thinking, oh my goodness, I hope I haven't dislodged it or cracked a bit of the bone. You know, melodramatic, that's me. So anyway, it seems to be holding up all right. It's hurting like the dickens. It makes a change from my back going, nah. Now my knee's going, do. And also, of course, I've hurt my hip. You don't realise, and my shoulder and my arm. You don't realise other bits hurt for a while, do you, when you've had a bang, you know, and you poof, down you go. You just concentrate on the main bit. You think, oh God, I've hurt my knee. It's only like the following day when you realise, oh, my shoulder hurts. My elbow hurts, my wrist hurts, this wrist hurts. My hip hurts. But I soldiered on. I went up the seafront today. I did take a little video. It's on my Facebook and Instagram. A little video watching the cranes. Not cranes as in birds cranes. Cranes as in diggers or whatever they're called. There wasn't any of the great big tonker wagons there. There wasn't any of them there at the time I was going past. So you didn't get a view of those. You just got men working. I watched a thing one time where they set it to sort of music and they were like, ta-da! You know, these cranes and diggers were doing like a dance, a ballet kind of thing with these diggers. But these weren't doing that, they were just crashing and banging about. But I'll try again to get you the big wagons because they are huge, these big wagons. Anyway, I went to the cafe. It was quite crowded actually, yeah. So I had a meat and potato pie, or as they call it now, potato and meat, because you've got to put the first thing first that's got the most of it in. They used to always be called meat and potato pies, but now because the potatoes kind of outnumber the meat, it has to be a potato and meat pie. Still a meat and potato pie, whichever way you look at it. So I had one of those with a few chips and some mushy peas. You don't know what mushy peas are, you're either a southerner or you're from a different country. Look them up, Google mushy peas. Manchester caviar they call it, yeah. Mushy peas. So I had that, and of course I came back home and I was talking to a neighbour for a while, having a chat. I hadn't seen her for ages. Sadly she's had gallbladder trouble, she's been in and out of hospital, so I was catching up on about a year's worth of conversation. Anyway, I got back in and then my son arrived shortly after me, and I thought they were going to Scotland tomorrow, but apparently they were going tonight. The car must have got packed up kind of while I was out, you know, so I didn't see it, did I? So they must have packed up the car, packed up their clothes or whatever it is they need for a weekend. So they went and they've gone to Scotland till Sunday. So I've got the house to myself. Cheers. Water. Cheers, not vodka. Water. Anyway, I've only just eaten something because, of course, when I'm putting weight on, I've told you before, oh my goodness, am I putting weight on? But I wasn't hungry for anything big, so I just had fish fingers on the muffin. A muffin is a bone of contention with people. Some people call them baps, some people call them rolls, some people call them whatever. I call them muffins because they're oven bottom muffins. So I had 4 fish fingers, fish sticks or whatever you want to call them in America. I had 4 fish fingers on a muffin for my tea, as I didn't want a big tea. I had loads of stuff in the fridge, but I didn't want it. So I haven't really got anything. I didn't progress any more knitting last night. I was kind of a bit sleepy, and then of course I fell, so, you know, no more knitting, just went to bed. And so I'm going to pick that up and see if there's anything on the TV to watch. I have watched YouTube. I've watched Sheila with her 2 videos. The trouble is I watch them on the TV, so I forget to go on another method to actually put on a comment. So I watch loads of people and don't put any comments because, you know, I'm watching it on the telly. Anyway, I put one of the tops on the mannequin. One of the tops is on the mannequin. It's a bit deeper, this one here. It's got a bit more substantial back on it. And it's actually a little bit bigger than the teeny weeny ones. Oh, I can't turn it round, my hand's not working. It's a little bit bigger than the teeny weeny ones, this one. Still the same price. I put it on Well, I will be putting it on Instagram and Facebook. It's still £10, £4 postage if you're in the UK. A lady did say, one of my friends did say to me, oh, there's a lady selling them for £25, and I'm like, yeah. How I wish. Yeah, if you want to give me £25, you can. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a bit of knitting if I can, you know, get past the aches and the pains. Oh, it's turning into a whingy video, isn't it? Whinge, which I hate. I hate people whinging on about different ailments and stuff. But I've definitely got I've definitely got something to whinge about today. Yeah. Feeling very sorry for myself. Yes. Moany groany. Yeah. My niece is just rung me to see if I was okay because I sent her a text message saying, I'm all over. One of my friends, she falls over anything, anywhere, anyhow. So I said, I've joined you. I said, I fell over. I've actually done very well. I haven't had a fall for quite a few months, actually. I've managed to stay on terra firma. Managed to stay on 2 very dodgy, wobbly feet, but I've managed to stay on them. Quite proud of myself. First fall. It's not even fall. Tomorrow is the longest day, isn't it? That means everything's going to go shorter. It has been quite nice today, actually. Quite nice. If you see my little video that is on Facebook and Instagram, blue skies, blue skies. But, yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I've got the day to myself. I could go in the shed and I could find that folder that Eason wants to look at, the crochet cardigans. I could subject you to that. I could do that. I could do a lot of things, really, couldn't I? I might even pop to the shops. I was going to go tonight, but my niece hurt and whinge again. So I'll probably go in the morning if I feel like it, just to get a few bits and bobs. Yeah. I can't remember what it was I've run out of. I've run out of something that I needed, that I forgot all about. Yeah. Butter, that's it. Only got a little bit of butter. Don't like margarine, butter. Yeah. So I need some butter. And while I'm out, I might treat myself to some ice cream. That's going to do a whole lot for your diet, isn't it, Jana? But I did buy some cherries and I did buy some lovely blackberries while I was in Marks and Spencer's. So a nice bit of ice cream would go lovely with that, wouldn't it? Or I might get some Magnum. Magnum are like choc ices on a stick, if you don't know what I'm talking about. You will if you're in the UK. They do dark chocolate and they do white chocolate. So. And I know they sell those at the co-op. Yes. So I did get some money from the hole in the wall yesterday. It's a good job I did because we're going out to an afternoon tea. And they needed the money for this afternoon tea before something of July. So I thought, well, being as I've just been to the hole in the wall and actually got some cash in my purse, I'll pay for it today so I don't forget. I think it's not until sometime in August that we're going. We had to pay by the something of July. Yeah. Apparently the tabletop thing that I missed. I did tell you I think I was going to go on Saturday and the weather was just appalling. It just absolutely came down in stare on it. It just bounced. And much as my scooter has got a top on it, I thought, no. I don't want to go out that much, so I didn't go. But apparently it was quite good, you know. My friend, she does sew, you know me, dog stitch. She got some lovely material, you know, she got quite a lot of meters to make a skirt with or a pair of trousers for a couple of pounds. She got some material to make herself a blouse. Oh, would that I could sew anything together. There's, I think it's Ali, Little Drops of Rain, Raindrops, something like that. She makes dodgy bags, she calls them. If I made project bags, they would very much be dodgy bags. Because my sewing skills these days are kind of non-existent. I used to be able to sew in a straight line at one time. But as I've often said, I've got a long memory. One of the pictures that came up today on my Facebooks was one of Facebook was one of me when I was at the grammar school. And I'm looking at it thinking, you had such high hopes when you were there. I would be probably 15 or something like that on this photo. Got the dark hair. You look on Facebook, you probably think, who's that? But it was me. And I had such high hopes. I was going to go to university, I was going to, rule the world or whatever. Didn't do any of it, of course. Didn't get to university, I've told you before. I got my appendix taken out on the day I should have gone to the university. Freshers Week, Freshers Day, whatever they call it. The day they were allocating the student accommodation. No, Janet was in hospital having her appendix taken out. So they gave my room, my potential room, to someone else. So my mum had said, oh, you'll get a room, you just go and somebody will find you with something, but, I couldn't. I would have been, the most unscrupulous landlord would have found me, And in any case, I really don't think I could have signed for anything because I wasn't 21. In those days, you had to be 21 to sign legal agreements. So I was so terrified of going to Liverpool on my own that I never went. So the little picture of me that was so full of hope at 14 or 15 years old, whatever I was at the time, all came to naught, nothing. Do you go look back at your life and think, if only? If only we would have known what was in our futures. What would we have done that was so different? With me, I would have gone to university, hopefully got a different job to what I did. Never got married. Or got married to somebody completely different, somebody probably intellectual with a fancy job and a big pay packet, One never knows, does one? And I wouldn't have finished up working in a wool shop. Life has so many twists and turns, doesn't it? It probably is a good job that we don't know what's in our future. That you don't know, like, next year this is going to happen, or in 2 years' time that's going to happen. We're probably as well not knowing, aren't we? Especially if anything involves a serious illness or a bereavement or something. We would rather not know. I'd rather be the proverbial ostrich with my little head in the sand. Like, everything's hunky-dory, everything's wonderful. Everything's great in my life, and then what? You fall over. And all of a sudden, well, that wasn't too great, was it, Janet? You just bashed your knee. Yeah. Oh, my battery obviously wasn't fully charged. Oh, that's another thing I did last night. As I fell, I must have pulled my phone charger thing out of the wall. So I got up this morning and I thought, that's not right. My phone's not charged up overnight, it usually does. And so hence the camera hasn't charged up, because I've got a thing that plugs into the wall, into the USB socket, and it's got like 5 different leads, and you plug different bits of equipment in, I plug in my little Fire Stick thing, your little Kindle. I plug in the camera, I plug in my phone, and I've got a plug-in light that works off a USB. A little bedside light. Because there's no bedside light anywhere near, and I would fall, turning the big light off at the wall, by the door, and then finding my way across to my bed in the dark would be a recipe for disaster. So I bought myself a tiny little lamp that charges up off a USB. So of course I must have yanked them as I fell, must have pulled them all out. So the camera is looking very dodgy, it's looking on about that much life in its little battery. So it'll probably cut off long before it goes diddly 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 diddly. And I've got a dry mouth, must be the fish fingers. A night like this is when I miss going for a walk. Can't do that. Can't even go for a scoot, because my knee hurts more when I'm on my scooter than it does when I'm sat down. Yeah, when you used to go out, I mean, when I had a husband a long time ago, we used to love going for a walk around, just around the streets, nowhere special. Just go for a little walk for an hour or so. You know, a nice evening. I think sometimes the evening is the best part of the day. Sometimes when the day's been rotten all day, horrible weather, it kind of brightens up round about tea time. Or, if it's been scorching hot all day, haha, got a long memory, not been scorching hot for a long time, but if it's been scorching hot all day, you know, the cool of the evening, it's nice to go for a walk. I don't mean in the dark, I don't want to go and walk in the dark, but like this time of the night, what is it now? It's 20 to 8, but we've still got light nights. I mean, after the 21st, we'll be getting shorter days, won't we? So therefore, as they say, the nights are drawing in. That always used to puzzle me, drawing in. You know, you think of drawing with a pencil, drawing in. That's not quite right, is it? Anyway, so I shall go and try and put a comment on Sheila's video, because she did get some lovely wool given to her. And what am I watching now? Going to watch Crochet Rocks. I don't know what she's doing. She's getting over COVID, that's what she's doing. And then I'm going to see if there's anything else nice to watch, because there's nothing much on the TV these days. If you're not into football and you're not into other kinds of sports, it's not a whole lot. And I'm not a sporty person. I don't know whether you like football and stuff, cricket and stuff like that. I don't. Darts, snooker, billiards. Not for me, no. I like them. I don't even like a lot of cookery programs. Although I do like watching Sophie Griggs, and she lives in Italy, in Puglia. It looks like Puglia, but it's Puglia. And, you know, I watched the one the other day, and she went into this shop, and I never knew there were so many varieties of tomatoes. You know, we get maybe 3 or 4 over here in the UK. But over in Italy, honestly, you know, there were so many different kinds. And I presume they all taste differently, I presume. Never been in a position to ever taste them. But Italian cooking does have an awful lot of tomatoes, yeah. I mean, I actually probably would actually like pasta if I went to Italy. Because the pasta is all freshly made, and the pasta sauce is made with fresh tomatoes. Not this bottle stuff you buy at the supermarket and stick over some dried pasta and wonder why it tastes like rubbish, you know. That's why I think I don't like pasta. I will eat pasta or pizza if I'm in an Italian restaurant, because it's never seen a jar from the supermarket, if you know what I'm saying. And they don't put... There's something about putting fresh herbs in something. Buying a jar with herbs in it is not the same. I think it stands or it gets cooked in the jar or something happens to it, and all you can taste is the herbs. And I always think it should be a suggestion of herbs in something. You know, like, I think I can taste it. Not like, oh boy, I can taste the herbs, and that's all I can taste. I can't taste the pasta, I can't taste the tomatoes, all I can taste is the herbs. That, to me, is because it's dried herbs, and I don't like dried herbs. You know, if you went anywhere to Italy or anything like that, you wouldn't catch them using dried anything. They would be using fresh, wouldn't they? And I think that's where the difference is. That's why I would like pasta in Italy. I would like pizza in Italy, but not here in the UK. We had a very, very good Italian restaurant in Prestwich where I lived before. That was good. And also my gorgeous fish and chip shop in Prestwich has actually opened up next door, made like a seating arrangement, you know, so you can go in and sit down and eat your fish and chips. miss that. I really miss fish and chips from Prestwich. Chips at number 8 if ever you're in Prestwich, you must go. Anyway, I'm going to go now and rest my knee. Elevate, as they say. What's it? Rice, isn't it? Rest, ice. Is it compression? I know the E is elevate. Not quite sure what the C's for. Yeah, I know it's rice, isn't it? You have to do rice for your knees. So I shall go, try and do some bit of knitting, find something, try to find something on the TV to watch. I'll no doubt be looking for something on YouTube or something, because I don't want to watch sport. And all the programmes I used to watch on TV have all finished. I'm left with watching Vera for the 14th time, you know, or Daniel and Pascal for the 10th time. I was even watching Are You Being Served the other night. I was so drastic, and my goodness have I watched that so many times before. Waiting for God, Are You Being Served, Last of the Summer Wine. That's what I was watching the other night, so you can tell how desperate I was. There was nothing. I've told you before, I am just not into all these stupid reality shows. You know. Our 92-year-old lady that comes to knit club, she was like saying she'd watched that Naked Attraction by accident, you know. She was like, how can people pick a partner, you know, just by looking at the naked bits? You don't look at the faces. I said, well, that's what it's come to these days. You know, if you have to choose your partner by what they've got going on under their clothes, it's a bit sad, isn't it, you know? And you have to do, that's the only thing that you look for, is the figure underneath the trousers or underneath the top, you know. In my day, you looked for reasonably looking, if you were lucky, good looking if you were lucky, and a nice brain, bit of conversation, bit of intellect, you know. Somebody who wasn't quite so, you know, wrapped up in sport or wrapped up in something. Somebody who had at least something to say. A conversation, you know. That's what I used to look for. Didn't always find it, but I did look for it. Here we go. Oh, stop it. You know, we're back to the old story from yesterday. You have to kiss the frogs before you meet the handsome prince. Still waiting, by the way, for the handsome prince. Still waiting. Don't want any frogs though, please don't send any frogs my way. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're still with me after all the waffle. And hope my knee's better by tomorrow. Anyway, like, subscribe, tell all your friends. I would love to grow my channel. It never will happen. But I'm an optimist. Always look on the bright side of life, as they said in, was it Monty Python? Always look on the bright side of life. And with that, I'm going to go. So, bye. Happy Thursday. Bye for now.